So I've permanently added my clip-in hair extensions to my head. Now, you won't know this by looking at my hair, but I've actually got dreadlocks in. Now, I'm not a hairdresser, but I had dreadlocks for like 5 years and I used to dreadlock other people's hair. When I had dreadlocks in my hair, it makes your hair shrink, so I used to add human hair extensions to the dreadlocks to give it the length I wanted. But I didn't want the dreadlock look anymore, but I still wanted the length. So this is how I've done it. This is my natural hair. It was layered, so this part is actually shorter than the actual length. But underneath that, you'll see that I've actually dreadlocked my extensions to my hair. So the dreadlock is only this long, which means it's completely covered by the layer. I also added one full dread, just because I think it looks a bit quirky and cute. Now, the only time you can actually see I've got dreadlocks is if I have my hair fully up in a bun. But I think it looks pretty cute, so I don't really mind. Now, because the hair extensions are attached to the bottom of the hair, all I'll have to do when it comes to growth is just a normal maintenance job as if I had a full head of dreadlocks. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, and it's also given my hair thickness. Because the dreadlocks are at this part of my hair, it's just give that bit of extra thickness as well as length. So I'm really happy with how it's turned out. You can't tell I've got dreadlocks, but I've got dreadlocks. I'll add one more so I can show you how to do it, because it's hard to explain. So all you're going to need to do this is a comb. Try and get a hard wearing one, like one of them knit combs, they're the best for it. A crochet hook, which is 0.50 to 0.75. You can get these on Amazon if you just type in crochet hook dreadlocking tool. We're also going to need human hair extensions. Now, from a full head of human hair extensions, I have this much left over of one full clip and this little piece, which I'm going to be adding to my hair now. I would not recommend using synthetic hair. The most difficult part of dreadlocking your own hair is actually the sectioning, but the sectioning is also very important. So what you want to do is a brick layer effect. So in the bottom row, if you have two like this, the row above, you want the dread right in the middle of these two, so it sits nicely. I have done the brick layer effect, but I've done it so it works for my hair, because I like having two plaits and I like having my hair in two halves, like two ponytails. So I've made sure that my part in the middle is not interrupted by a dread. I've done this by having 4 at the bottom and then 6 the row above, and making sure that parting still's there. You want these sections to be as neat as possible, but you also want them to be more of a square shape than a rectangle shape. You want a square shaped section. I use small elastic hair ties to keep my sections in place while I'm dreadlocking. I'm going to add one more dread into my hair to show you how it's done. The first thing you want to do is see how much hair you got in your section and then measure that. So you want the similar amount of hair or a slightly bit more. So I'm actually going to use, for this section here, I'm going to use this amount of hair, which is a similar thickness. You want to get this section and back comb it. Now I want a tight back comb, so go from the bottom to the top and make sure it's back combed all the way up. Just like that. You will expect a shrinkage on your own hair if you're back combing. Then you can give it a bit of a roll with your hands. That's just to give you the start of a dread look. The next thing you want to do is just back comb just the top bit of this hair extension. This is mainly to keep all the hair together when you cut the top of that line, and that is going to be going on there. You want to cut this as close as you can to where it's actually seamed on. So now both these bits are back combed. You want to put them together, both on the back comb bit, and you want to get your crochet hook. Then you want to put your crochet hook in and then out, and just keep pulling it in, because the idea is just to tangle it in. So give it a slight twist while you're doing it, and you can rotate the dread at the same time, just to make sure it really gets in there. And straight away you'll see it starting to attach. So now it's like literally staying in already. You're going to get the rest of the hair you want to add and just back comb the rest of it, just so it fits into the rest of your hair and how much you're going to back comb it till. So I'm back combing the extension into my own hair at the same time. Now I've given it enough room so it will not come loose. That is a very important thing, especially with loose ends. So instead of starting it right at the bottom, you want to give at least 3 fingers of hair, really, so it stays in place. Now it's attached securely, I'm going to start working on the top bit near my root. So then you're going to roll it with your hands just to get it in a nice shape. I like it having it in a nice shape, and then it's attached. I did that in less than 5 minutes. Due to the loose ends, and so you don't have any hair loss, you're going to have a little bit of hair coming out from the extensions in the first day or two, because that's just which hairs haven't tangled well. So you want to make sure this is as tight as possible. So just keep going over it whenever you can, just so it's nice and tight, especially at the bottom. That'll snatch all the hair from falling out. Once you've finished doing the dread, it should stand up like that. When it stands up straight like that, this bit's obviously not going to, that means it's tight enough, and that's what you really want. If you think it's too loose at the scalp, you can use a tool to sort that. So this is a different type of crochet hook, and you can use this to help tighten your hair. I would not do it with this every single time. I prefer using this to tighten up that root area. But for when I first put my dreads in, I kind of like doing it. This can split your dread if you do it too much. So you just want to do it a tiny little bit. So I just thread it through halfway, and you have to go through a different angle every time you do this, and just pull it through, and it just gives it that little bit of tightness nearest to the root. I've recorded the entire time I was doing this dreadlock, and it took me about 6 minutes because you're not actually dreading that much hair. It stays in place. It's not going to move at all, and it will get tighter and tighter in your hair every time it gets wet, but it will be looser after it gets wet. Once it gets wet, your hair gets pulled down by the weight, and then it will spring back up, causing them knots. So the idea is to properly tangle it in. So with this hook, I don't know if you can see it, it's a tiny little hook, and it will pull them hair pieces so they just tangle more, and you literally just want to tangle it. That's all what dreading is, really, is tangling your hair. I can do this really quick now because I've been doing it for so long, but I always recommend people to do it themselves, because when it comes to maintenance, or if it feels a bit loose, you can just do it yourself. All you need is that. All you need to do, you can just do it yourself, and you can do maintenance yourself, which is a lot easier. Also, if you go to a shop and get it done, your scalp will fucking hurt. Trust me, they do it tight as hell. So that is it, and it's done. I've added just one extra piece, but I don't know if you can tell or not.